All right, we're finally on.
Here we go.
Happy Monday. We got a good group waiting already too.
Nice. I'm recording this.
Okay, who all we got? Got some new faces to me too, at least. We got Steven, we got Cody, we got Daza, Hunter, Kirsten, Larry, Mindre. What's up, Betty? How are you? Tom, Wesley, Tom, and then S. Huff, which Dallas man
Scott
helped me
Huff.
out. Okay, I love it. Nice. All right, cool. We also have a live studio on today with, help me out with his name again, by the way.
No, it's Noah.
Noah, and then also Camille
Clark
is hanging
She's doing
out.
the
She's on
business.
Craig Burry's team. She's doing the business, and
She
she's hanging
said-
out watching door knocking today.
She said if she does not get on camera, she's going to throw it. So we'll see what we can do. So
He'll put you on camera at some point then, for sure, right? For sure. All right, let us know that you can hear us. Okay, jump in chat.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up, chat where you're watching from. I'd love to see locations of where you're at around the country. I don't believe door knocking changes that much. Yeah, some states are a little pickier when it comes to door knocking, COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd love to see where everybody's at. Tom is down in Dallas. Lenexa, what's up, Hunter? KCMO, okay, awesome, good. Utah.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
There's our
that's awesome.
first, our topic. When you go to approach a house, do you wear a mask?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
I always put one in my pocket. I've had one person say, hey, would you please put on a mask? So I'm always ready. Of course, you want to be respectful.
Yeah, I would almost, I mean, it may be a different climate where you're asking, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, I think a lot of times too, people are naturally like, okay, who's coming to my door? Why are you here? What's going on? Also, for those that want to turn cameras on, I'd love to see faces.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one on. Thank you very much. Okay, I love you more than anybody
Right.
else just because of that. I appreciate that a ton. I love seeing faces.
There we
Phenomenal.
go.
Okay, Kirsten,
Nice.
Thank you. Love that.
He
That'll
said
just
your
help.
name right too, the first time. I've known her like 7
No, he
years.
didn't. It's Kirsten.
Kirsten.
They say, I don't know if I did or not yet, but Kirsten.
Very nice.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. 3 more videos. Wow.
Brave people.
Man.
Some of y'all.
That's the first tip on a door knocking really well, by the way, is you have to be willing to show your face
Yeah.
when you're on Zoom or when you door knock, either way. Okay.
We don't care if you're in pajamas, as long as they're Christmas pajamas.
Well, yeah, we are doing pajama day, supposedly.
Are we really?
Our security marketing team is. Nobody
Huh.
told me.
Yeah.
And everybody's in pajamas today over there, which
You
is
won't
cool.
want
Okay.
me
What's
in
up,
my
Harvey,
pajamas.
Cody, Hunter,
Harvey Walls,
Steven?
there he is. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you. We also
All right.
we saw Izzy down in Georgia a
Yeah.
couple of days ago, which is cool. He was with Joshua Young's.
Small plug. If you guys are Steve, if you guys are not, if you haven't been to a road to 8%, Cody, how much do I make from a ticket sales to 8%?
Hang on.
Carry the
Nothing
one.
yet.
0. So, but I would love to see you guys.
Yeah.
I believe in conferences. I believe in meeting other people, getting you fired up. Hey, Israel, are you on here, buddy?
Now he is.
There he is. Hey, give me 10 seconds. What you thought about the 8% in Atlanta?
Man, it was phenomenal. I
Time's up.
brought,
I'm kidding. Keep going.
I brought 2 PNC guys, and they were like on the verge of like leaving the business, and now they're like, invigorated and like, getting after it. Like, so I'm so excited for them.
Plus, I'm gonna give Israel $100 towards marketing for bringing 2 people. So you guys get on there. I'm not. Brian is. I love spending. What we're gonna do? Anybody you bring, we'll give you $50 towards marketing, and then we're paying for half your ticket if you're a SIG agent. The next one's in Charlotte on January the 14th, January 14th.
Yep.
So be sure and be at that. So, but anyway, hey, let's get going. Let's get rolling. We've got a lot to cover,
Okay.
a ton to cover. I know Cody is.
And not a ton of time to cover either. So,
Yeah, long ways
you
to
know.
go and a short time to get there for all you Smokey and the Bandit fans. So the first thing we want to talk about is leads, right? How do you get in front of people? There's several different ways you can do leads,
Yes.
right? I think the most effective, it's probably the most costly, but the most effective is probably mail leads, direct mail leads.
Yeah, no doubt.
We have Need a Lead. We have lead concepts. We have leading response. There's a lot of different ones. And guys, if you have any comments, please put them in the chat there too. If you've got any direct mail leads that you use, please let us know. But direct mail I like because the number one objection you're going to get when you go up to the door is what? It wasn't me.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
do
don't remember
that.
doing that. It was me. Yeah.
Right. And when I have a card in my hand that's got their signature on it, their personal writing, I can be like, man, you make your R's funky there or whatever. Offend them right off the bat. That's key one.
I don't do it.
But just that direct mail lead when it's in your hand with their writing on it, it's hard for them. I couldn't do it. The others are Facebook referrals. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. How to get referrals while door knocking and continue door knocking. And so we're going to talk about that in just a second. But the big thing is just remember a lead is just an introduction. There's a reason that we have leads. If you go to Secure Insurance Group Facebook page, secureig.com, you can order leads from there. They're $12 a piece. We don't make money on them. I think the last couple, we've actually lost a little bit of money, but that's all right. We draw even at about $12. And so, but remember this, I don't sell leads because I hate the phone call of this lead sucks.
Yeah.
All leads suck, guys. A lead is just a name and an address and an opportunity to get in the door.
Well, I can tell you too, like if you have the mindset, okay, I'm going to offend everyone in a positive way really quick. Okay. If you have the mindset that, dude, like this $12 lead is making me leave the business and destroy my entire day, and I'm never going to be able to make any money or any sales in insurance because of this $12 lead, I can promise you, you are going to struggle in insurance and you're likely going to fail at some point. And I share that positively, not negatively, simply because I can tell you like the whole mindset, and this applies to what we're talking about today, like your mindset of what you do and how you do it. That's why I love a daily routine, right? Like there's certain things that we used to do before we would go door knocking. Dallas and I've door knocked a lot over the years previously. It's been years ago.
Mhm.
I don't know if we could still do it, but I bet we still could,
Yes, we
right?
could.
But we used to do it a lot of door knocking together, which is why we're doing this today. I can tell you, like, the first thing is your mindset matters. Like I'm listening to certain things every morning, right? We're making our sales team watch sales training videos every morning. We're role playing every morning. Like you don't want to go up to the first door in a negative mindset. You've been, letting the media just dump garbage on your brain, and then you go up and you try to talk to Betty, and you're like upset. You're in a bad mood. Like don't do that. I'm telling you, it will impact your results for sure.
And to add on to that, I love, if you guys aren't watching Ted Lasso, I know Cody isn't. I'm trying to get him to.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso says have a 10-second memory, right? What's the happiest animal on the planet? It's a goldfish, because goldfish have a 10-second memory. I don't care if you got yelled at, whatever, on that last call. Somebody said something about your mama. At the next door, you are going to knock on the door of the person that's going to write that $428 a month FE policy and give you referrals and all that stuff. So you can't go into any appointment with a bad mindset, but especially after a bad one, that just means you got one out of the way, right?
Yeah. You also can't go out door knocking saying, okay, I'm door knocking. I've got these 3 leads. I'm going to go door knock them. And my whole life, my whole career, my whole business is contingent on these 3 door knocks, right? Like if I don't make sales or I don't get the door, I'm done with leads, I'm done with insurance, I'm never going back. Like I'm telling you, I don't go out to door knock unless I'm knocking on at least 25 doors minimum. Okay, that's right out of the gate. And why do I share that? Why is that so important? Because activity is the name of the game. Like I'm telling you, I don't care how bad you are at door knocking. You knock on 25 doors, you're going to get in a couple. Most likely, you're going to set a couple of appointments. Like you're going to get in front of a couple of people. Like the activity is the name of the game. No lead's perfect. There's no perfect door knocking lead. I would say direct mail is naturally the best. Right. And while you would say, well, okay, why is that? Well, because they fill out a card and they literally signed it and then they walked it to their mailbox and they put it in the mailbox. And then it came to you over a couple of weeks to them, right? So they did take more action, kind of like you're having to take more action to go to the door. They did take more action to actually take that card and put it in the mailbox.
Well, think about this, guys. The first time I went and saw the Cardinals, I was 8 years old. I went out there. They were playing the Montreal Expos. I remember it like it was yesterday. I walk out there. My favorite player of all time was Ozzie Smith at the time. Loved Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith went, he struck out 3 times and hit into a double play his 4th time up. Now, if that's the only thing I ever saw of Ozzie Smith, and then one day I hear he got into the Hall of Fame, I'd be like, there's no way this guy belongs in the Hall of Fame. This guy's a loser, right? It takes a large group of numbers for you to find out what you're doing well and what you're not doing well and all that stuff. So like Cody said, if you're not, you need to be knocking at least 25 every time you go out. If Cody and I went out and we had 3 leads, our odds are not very, I think we're pretty good at this. Our odds are not very good.
The odds are actually good that we're going to come home empty-handed.
Yeah.
The odds are really good.
Exactly. So get out there, set yourself up for success. And remember, leads, all it is, it's an introduction, and it's only as good as the hands of the person that it's in, right?
Yeah.
Leads are only as good as when you're ready, you're prepared, you're ready to rock, and you have a 10-second memory. So let's move on. So when to door knock. We have found that Mondays are not always best. Now, don't use the excuse of, oh, it's a Monday. There you go. So Mondays just never seem to work for us. We like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What we used to do, we would drive to a town out in the Boot Hill. We loved Sykeston. We loved Cape Girardeau, all these little towns. We would find the nastiest hotel we could possibly find, and we would set up there for 3 days.
That's not a requirement, though. That was just something we did.
I think you should. It makes you hungrier. You don't want to be in your hotel room, right?
That is true.
But no, we would go out there and we would knock for 3 days, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, and we come home on Thursday. And that seemed to work for us. Friday was our paperwork day, get everything turned in, make sure all the, pending and all that stuff is good. And then Monday, make sure we're going. I will say too, though, here's the thing. If you're doing something, what we're saying, this isn't like the one way to knock doors.
Yeah.
Right. If you're knocking Monday and Friday and you're killing it, knock Monday and Friday, whatever. But just remember to, when you go out and knock, we always found you're knocking now you can do this on FE too. You can do this on Medicare as well. I did pull this up. I wanted to show you guys. If you don't have this tool, I don't know how well you can see it, but on my phone right there, this is a tool that's available to all Secure Insurance Group agents. This is the Turning 65 app, right? That is a list of everybody within the 3 or 4 mile radius of me that's turning 65. You guys have access to that. We'll be sure we put on there. We're going to do an instructional video on how to get this on your phone and how to use it. But make sure you guys have that. Door knocking, you don't have to have 100 leads. You don't have to go out and spend $5,000 on direct mail leads or whatever. You just have to have 25 opportunities every day. So that may be a little direct mail. That may be, we used to go, I remember one time we went to Arkansas. Remember that?
Yep.
We won't talk about the trip, but it'll be funny someday. It's not funny yet. We went to Arkansas and we had some leads. I don't know why. We found out we got through those leads in like half a day.
Yep.
So we went on the website, Life Leads Direct.
Yes.
Remember that?
For age leads.
Age leads. And we got on there and they have leads on Life Leads Direct. They're still in there today.
I love door knocking age leads, by the way. Like the quantity, I love the quantity of it, right? Because I can go grab
you can buy for 25 cents.
50, 100, very easy. Also, create your marketing with a bunch of age leads as well.
Yeah.
Possibly in your area. I don't know, but I love age leads.
I'm just saying all you need is that, hey, Mr. Smith, right? So
also you're less to get upset. You pay 25, 30 bucks for a direct mail lead, or you pay 30 cents or $3. It's less likely to bother you if they don't do anything, right? Like the return on investment is, you spend $300 for 100 age leads, and then you can go door knock all of those that week very easily, right?
Yeah.
And then
if you strike out,
you get one sale, you made your money back. You should be getting out. In that example, you go knock on, like, for example, we used to knock on like 25 doors a day. We would actually use MapQuest Route Planner. Mm-hmm. We would take age leads. We would put the address in MapQuest Route Planners. We used to do, there's probably better technology nowadays, software, sites, etc. That's what we did. And then we would take those up and we would split it up into 4 different days, 25, 25, 25, 25. And then we would go knock. And those 100 doors, typically in 25, we would probably end up talking to, actually seeing about 5 to 10 people per day at the door, right? Because we were door knocking for a final expense, right? Lower income, they're on disability, they're on Medicaid, whatever. Like they're typically home, sitting there watching TV, watching somebody else trying to sell them life insurance through a commercial, right? And so we would door knock, and we do 25, we get in front of about 5 to 10, and then we would actually get in the door. I would say typically, we would average about half the time we would actually get in, sometimes better, but I'm trying to be conservative. So I would say out of 25, if you can get in front of, if you can get close to where 5 to 10 are answering and you're getting in front of, 3, you're actually getting in to 3 to 6 of those, that's pretty solid. And we would repeat 4 days in a row.
One thing, Camille, she wanted to sit in because she has ordered some direct mail leads. And So what we've done is with us, we are going to knock those. I haven't told her this yet, but let's say she gets 3 leads from Aurora, right? We're not going to drive to Aurora to knock 3 leads. We're going to then go on Life Leads Direct or somewhere like that and get another 10, 15, 20 leads or something like that. Spend another $1.50, $2.
Even if you were putting in, like, even if you were using cold data,
Yep.
where you were looking for people that are 55 to 75 that make less than 30 or 40,000 in income, like the chances of you finding someone that's already looked into final expense at some point in the past
Pretty good.
is pretty high. Like the chances of them submitting a card or a lead or something somewhere at some time is pretty high, right? So because of that, you can also use those to fill in the gaps. Yeah, it's cold, they didn't do it. However, they probably have at some point, so who cares? You know? I think a lot of times too, again, I think I'm just offending everyone today really well. It's really easy to overthink door knocking.
Yeah.
Like I believe details delay. Most insurance agents want to know everything before they actually go do anything, which is terrible, but that's how the average brain works, right? So I'm sharing that because if you can get that out of the way and just go do something, like a lot of us, like for example, some of you the next couple of days will either sit in the office, you know, drive around, sit at home, but you won't ever actually talk to anybody over the next 2 or 3 days. Well, unless you're Tyler Tingy, who's already doing that, right? Like
He's in the car.
Agents only make money if you are either presenting or prospecting. That's the only 2 ways you make money in the insurance business, right? So if you're either prospecting to get in front of someone or you're physically sitting with someone trying to sell them. That is it. Nothing else actually pays you at all in any way. So you say, well, Cody, you know, you made $117,000 cold door knocking when you were 20. Yeah, because I was knocking on 150 doors on a Friday. Like I wasn't good, but I was just doing more than other people.
Do this too for me. One, remember your audience. You're going to people that are of low income. I may offend somebody here. It's my turn. People of low income typically don't get up at 6 a.m. Right? So don't go knock on their door at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
9:30, 10 o'clock, they're getting ready to get around and stuff like that. And then very different times. If you've got a direct mail lead and you go knock on
we also
it,
would go later too, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
so he's
They
right. We
stay
may
up
start
late.
a little later, but we would go later.
yeah,
for
we
sure.
start at 10, we go till 8:30, 9 o'clock. You're really not supposed to knock past 8:30-ish. But I mean, use your judgment. If you walk up and you see the lights are on and all that stuff, you're good to go, man. The other thing is vary your times. If you've got somebody that's not home at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, don't knock on their door at 10 o'clock on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. We're all creatures of habit. We do the same thing every day. So vary your different times and all that stuff. The key is to just get out there and have action. Get out there and knock and do some door knocking there. Okay, so we get up to the front door, right?
Yep.
This is where most people fail. This is where Cody and I work well together because I'm more, hey, let's think about this. You know, that's a big dog. I can see the guy's gun through the door, right? Cody's the who cares? I'm sure he's friendly. You know, all I got to do is outrun you type of guy, right? And so we get up to the door. And guys, here's the funny thing. A bunch of different things go into this, like even how you stand, right? Stand together. Don't have one of you at the door and one of you way back. You look like you're on a police raid and you're watching the back door or something like that. Have yourselves up there together. Be ready. Number one, know the name of the person. Don't, when they come to the door, don't be like, you're expecting them to open the door. So when they do come to the door, you knock loudly. Cody has went around to the back window at times. Again, I'm watching the front, but knock loudly.
What you think about it, if they're in their closet, they're in the shower, they're cooking bacon, like I don't want to have to repeat myself multiple times.
Why are they
right?
in their closet?
I don't know. They could be getting close because they just got out of the shower, something, right?
Yeah. And here's the mindset. Okay. Here's one thing Cody taught me. This is very important. It's important to me. And I want to pass on that importance so that it's important to you. This is not a, hey, sir, if it's not too much trouble, I know I'm sorry for bothering you. Don't start out with anything negative. I hate that. I went door knocking with a kid here about a year ago, and he started 3 door knocks with that. I told him, I said, you're not allowed to talk anymore.
You're probably never going to let me in. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry I'm here.
sorry about that.
Sorry to
You know,
offend you.
I'm here with something good.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm going to change their life. I'm going to save them money. And when I leave, they're going to be very, very happy. Think about this. Every time you've made a sale, were they mad when you left?
They all, even when they said at the beginning of the appointment, I'm just shopping. I'm not buying today, which I love because they always buy when they say that. Okay. Then they buy. And then at the end, I wasn't going to buy, but thank you for selling me.
We have had people buy that literally were at the gate saying, we're going to call the cops if you don't leave. Am I lying or am I lying? Or
No,
one of the others.
not lying. We're not lying.
Yeah. So don't go up hesitant. Know the name of the person. Make sure you know how to say the name of the person. Isn't that right, Kirsten? No, because you don't want to offend them right off the bat, right? If you don't know, if you've got Mr. John and then just a bunch of consonants because they're from the beautiful island of Hawaii or something like that, it's John, right?
Yeah, I like going by first names a lot of times anyway. When we're getting out, like literally, I think a door knock starts the moment you pull up, by the way. Like you don't want to pull up to somebody's house and sit in their car for 90 seconds. That's really weird, right? Like that would be uneasy to you. So I pull up, I grab my stuff, I get out, I walk to the door, kind of like I'm in a little bit of a hurry, but I'm waving and smiling at the window and the door on my way up.
Because what do all of us do when something pulls up, right? We've all got the Ring doorbell. Like mine, my phone tells me if somebody moves in front of my house, right? We're already looking out the windows. We're looking to see what's going on. Who's that staring at me through the window? So yeah, it looks stupid and the neighbors think you're a little special, but you're just waving as you go up and you're all that stuff. Yeah.
Waving, smiling. And then as I'm getting up, right? Like if there's a screen door, I'm opening the screen door if it's unlocked and knocking on the actual door.
It's true. He does.
Yeah. I've heard this years ago, like neighbors, neighbors knock, everybody else rings the doorbell, right? So I knock. Okay. I'm not ringing the doorbell. If I can, I'm knocking. And when I'm knocking like kind of like I'm trying to get their attention, you know, like I'm not like I'm the police, but not like I'm very timid to be there either, you know? So I'm really trying to knock. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I'm knocking loud. And then if I can, if I may actually hold the screen door and like stand a few feet back if I can, right? So it's already open. It's easier. When they open the door, I don't want to startle them. I don't want to move closer.
Right.
I may even take another step back. I may even, a lot of times I will be smiling. Hey, how are you doing today? My name's Cody. Are you having a good day so far? Right? Like I want to try to warm them up as best I can because you got to think about it. Someone's at your door. Literally, you're going to make a snap impression about them within the first 2 to 3 seconds for sure on whether you can trust this person or whether you can't, whether I'm going to let them in or whether I shouldn't, right? Like you're thinking about that. And then, hey, how are you doing today? I'm good. What the heck are you doing in my house? Like, who are you? Why are you here? Right? Like those are the natural questions. Those are the questions you're going to get. It doesn't mean you go into explaining everything either. Just because people give you an objection or they ask a question like that doesn't mean you go into vomit mode, right?
Right.
So what I will do is as I've got the screen door open as a general example, and I'm smiling. Hey, my name's Cody. I appreciate you answering the door. The reason I'm here is because you filled out this card and you request information. It's my job to bring it to you. So I'm just getting back to you about this. Okay.
And let me break in here real quick. Don't forget, what's your purpose on the porch?
My purpose typically is to get in right now.
That's it.
That's my purpose.
Don't sell anything on the front porch. Don't give away any.
A lot of people, I mean, the natural easy opt out, if you want to like play like the unaggressive salesperson that's not trying to make sales today, you know, I'll set an appointment for later or I'll come back tomorrow. Like, no, our job, every time we made a sell, was there occasional 5% of the time we would book an appointment or less? Maybe. But every time else, we were getting in the door right then and there. Every time. For example, like I'm talking, hey, Betty, I know who you are. My name's Cody. You requested information about final expenses. I'm the local field underwriter. It's my job to bring you the information. I'm here. I had a couple quick minutes between a couple of appointments. It won't take me but a couple of minutes. Can I come in for a quick second? Like I'm asking at the end, like my job is to get in, right? If they say, well, I don't know, they're going to give you an objection probably 70% of the time at least. Hey, I'm busy. I don't have time right now. Okay. I have a canned response that I love using. This is also being recorded, which is good, right? Like, hey, I'm really busy. I don't have time right now. Totally understand, right? Always agree. Totally get it. I'm also extremely busy. I won't be back in this area for a while. Okay. I'm here now. I just need 60 seconds to go over the information. At the end of 60 seconds, you can kick me out if you would like to. So I'd love to come in now for 60 seconds. Sound fair enough? Is that okay with you? And a lot of times they're like, sure.
Here's the other thing too. If they say yes, go, right?
Yeah.
Like we were with one agent and they said, I'm pretty busy, make it quick. And then he kept saying, I promise this will just.
Quick, keep
Get in the
selling. Like,
house.
okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Would you like to sit at the couch or the table?
Yeah.
Like, boom, you got to go in with an either or question next. Would you, okay, I'm wiping my, you make me take my shoes off. You
Yeah.
may leave them on. You may put a mask on. You may leave it off. And should we sit at the couch or the table? Right?
So let me fire some objection at you.
Okay.
How much does this cost?
It's a great question. It varies for every single person I talk to. I can guarantee you have something that meets your budget. I need to ask a couple questions to figure that out. So let's spend a couple minutes and I promise I'll get you the information. Sound good?
Okay. You know what? You're the third guy that comes by here. How do you keep getting my information?
That's also a great question. Have you done anything or sat with anybody or actually taking any of these programs out yet?
Okay.
Because if you haven't, they're going to keep coming by. But I can go ahead and help you and get you off the list, which I'm sure you would love to get off the list, right?
I've already got something like this.
Excellent. Do you have the old program or the new one?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
That cracks me up. It's annoying how good he is. It
Well,
really bothers me.
You door knock thousands of doors.
Yeah.
You're going to remember some of this. you
Yeah.
know?
Just think about this, guys, especially men. Somebody walks up to us, and I was telling Camille this the other day. Somebody walks up to us in a store and says, "Hey, is there anything I can help you find?" What do we say?
No, just look at
Just looking. Drives my wife crazy. My wife
It's
will,
natural.
Yeah.
We don't mean it though, because we're looking for something.
yeah, I would love to know where the Yeti coolers are, whatever I'm looking for. And
Yeah.
it would save me 3 hours, but I'm going to just man that sucker up and find it on my
Yeah.
own, right?
That's,
So-
there's natural things that we all say, right? Like it just happens. And also a lot of times I'm busy. I already have it. Now's not a good time. Like they're going to come up with an excuse. Their brain is telling them you are supposed to come up with an excuse right now, whether you mean it or not.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, I would say 90% of the time, the excuse that they're giving you is made up on the spot and they do not mean it at all.
We're going to go over
Like
objections in just a second.
Yeah, it's not real at all.
It's
It's
just
really not.
something they feel like they're supposed to say. So, okay.
I'm going to give the guy an objection if he comes to my house. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm coming to the door.
Well,
I've got time.
How
you know?
weird would it be if somebody walked up to your door and knocked on your door and said, "Hey, I'm from ADT Security," and you're like, "Hey, come on in, man."
Perfect.
Get on in
Please
here.
tell me.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird. We're supposed to be met with some objections,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so let's go through the sales process. And believe me, guys, the sales process starts when you walk in the door. The first thing is the warm up. Spend and watch yourselves. Time out how long you want the warm up to be. I'm bad about going too long on the warm up. Cody probably goes a little too short initially. When we first started, I go too long. So we met in the middle, right?
Yep.
You don't want to warm up for more than maybe 5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
But in the warm up, number one, pay attention. Look at what's on the walls. Are there grandkids on the walls? Do they have a dog? Do they have, or do they have some of that nasty red and yellow stuff plastered on their wall that says Chiefs or whatever? Pay attention to what's going on, and just make sure that because when I'm looking around, the first thing I'm looking for is, why are they buying insurance? And the people that are hung on the walls, the pictures of the people that are hung on the walls, those are why they're buying insurance. That's their motive. That's everything right there, right? The other thing is take control. This is where Cody was very good. A couple weeks we would take control. You would ask them to please turn the television off.
Yeah. I mean,
Turn it down or whatever.
I believe in losing the sale on your own terms. If something is a barrier and I can remove it, I want to remove it, right? So for example, if the TV's on and I'm
Right.
sitting in the house, and I can't focus, or they keep looking at it, hey, Miss Betty, I hate to ask you to do this, but I'm having trouble focusing. Can we turn the TV off until I leave? That'd be very helpful for me, if that's okay with you, right? And they will.
Is there a dog playing? I've played with kids while Cody did an appointment. I've played with dogs while Cody does appointments. I won't play with cats. Those things are just wrong, but we're a
terrible
today. Yeah.
Terrible.
But now, I mean, just make sure and ask them tell them where to sit in a nice way, right? I've made people move before. I want the husband and wife, I want them sitting beside each other, and I'm sitting in front of them talking to both of them, right? Determine even early on who's doing all the talking, right? Because that's the person that's going to make the decision. A lot of times we as men, as male chauvinist pigs, we go in and we talk to the male, right? We all we do, and we leave the wife out. I've done it so many times.
I also make it a point, like if there's a couple and the other spouse isn't talking, to try my best to get them involved in the conversation, because it's going to impact the cell later.
Right.
For sure.
Like, so determine who is your decision maker. They're going to chime in. They're going to be the ones, but don't just single in on one person, right? Show the other person, both people that they are important and that they matter and that they are going to be involved in this decision. Now, early on, we're going to talk about objections, but start removing objections before they come up. One thing is, and this is a very hard objection, maybe one of the only objections that's almost impossible to overcome. If I'm sitting with a husband or a wife and the spouse is not there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask them early on, but rather than go through my whole spiel, and then at the end, what are they going to say? Oh, I got to ask my husband. I got to ask my wife. I may, at that point, set an appointment to come back when the husband or wife is at home. I don't know. You're kind of
I got a couple ideas. I mean, yes, that's my second or third resort. So, but I may say like, hey, if I can put you in a better situation and help you today, and this makes perfect sense, are you able to make the decision on your own? If it's in the best interest of your family, are you able to make the decision on your own? No. Okay, who do you need? I need my husband, Gary. Okay, great. Perfect. When we get to that point, can we get Gary on the phone to help make that decision? Is that possible? Maybe. Okay. Or would you feel better if I just came back later today? Like, I'm in the area today, I can come back later today. Which would you prefer? Right. So I want to be there. I want to sell now. Like, that's always my go-to. But if I got to come back to help a specific piece that's holding it back, then I will.
There are one or two objections that are actually valid objections, right? One or two. Most are not.
And normally they come up towards the end too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I want to see what you think of this. I don't know that we ever did this, but I had a young man come to my door and he impressed me so much. I bought something. I think it's still being automatically deducted out of my checking account. It was like a book or something. And I tried to hire the kid. But what he did was, he said in the beginning, he said, listen, can we make an agreement? Right. And we've all heard this one, right?
Oh, yeah, I like this.
I want to make an agreement. I want to tell you from the beginning that no is okay. I'm going to show you something. And if I cannot put you in a better situation, I want you to tell me that I want you to know that no is absolutely okay. Can we agree on that? So we're not going to say, I want to think about it or anything like that. Just if it's a no, that's okay. Can we agree on that and get them to verbally commit? Because, and really too, one thing he did too, I sat down with him later. I said, hey, I want to go over your sales presentation. I like what you did. I want to talk about it with you. He said, look, I try to, within 10 seconds of getting in front of you, get you to agree to something with me, because we are creatures of habit. And if you're agreeing with me early, when it comes time to say, hey, don't you think this would be a great plan for you and your family? And can you see how this would benefit you and your family? You've already agreed with me like 19 times. So it's just natural to keep on agreeing with me.
Yeah. It's
good.
good.
So it's kind of, I really like that. So
very good. Makes sense.
So, okay. So we go through the warm up. We're talking about sports teams. We're talking about dogs. Another thing is, while you're doing the warm up, write stuff down. If the dog's name is Coco, write down Coco's name, because those dogs, Cody's dog's name is Teddy. Mine is, I've got Jeeves and Mater. I got kids that name my dogs. But honestly, that kid remembered my dog's name before he left the house. He's like, hey, Jeeves, hey, Mater, thanks for not ripping my leg off, something like that. That impresses me. that shows that he's paying attention, right? So go ahead and remember those names, write down names of grandkids, write down names of anybody they bring up. Make sure that you write that down because you're planning for later. So we get through the warm up. Now we go into the fact find, right?
Yeah.
And this is the most crucial part of the sales process, in my opinion.
Yes.
Fact finding. Now, here are the things that I want to find out. Number one, in the fact find, why are they buying? And I've already discovered this a little bit in the warm up, but some questions to find out why they're buying. And this is a great way. Here's another thing too. To get into the sales process, I've been in so many awkward sales presentations where you're talking about, yeah, the Chiefs won last year, destroyed the Raiders yesterday, yada, yada, yada. Okay, by the way, how much life insurance would you like? Right. And it's just an awkward, I mean, you might as well say, how much does a polar bear weigh? Enough to break the ice, right? Because it's just awkward and it's weird and all that stuff. Find a way to segue from warm up that's very natural. Hey, let me ask you something. What made you think about life insurance? You know, what made you think about getting into what made you reach out and fill out this card? Well, my wife made me do it. Or, you know, well, that's a smart lady. Or, you know, we're not getting any younger. All of us pass away at a certain time. Yeah, it happens to the best of us, right? And now, the other thing I like to ask too is, who's your beneficiary during the fact-finding process? Because it's going to tell me why they're buying, right? And the beneficiary may be involved in decision-making.
Yeah.
If it's an adult son or an adult daughter, I'm going to then follow up with, okay, how much are they involved in your life? Are they involved in the decision-making? Is this somebody that we need to talk to? That's also a potential referral down the road as well, too. So what are your thoughts? How do you transition from warm-up into fact-finding?
I love that question. Hey, Betty, appreciate you letting me in your home. I've loved getting to know you. Help me out. What got you thinking about this? Why am I here?
Yeah. And okay, so let's say I get an awkward response. I don't know. My wife filled this out.
Well, I guess it's my job to help you figure that out then, isn't it? Okay, good.
Let's do this. Early on, remember, stay in control in the sales process. Do not answer. I've seen this so many times. Hey, how much is this? Well, let me look here. You know, don't stay in control.
I'm not going to tweak my sales process to fit them.
Right.
If I can control it, right? So if they ask something like that, hey, how much is it? You know, great question. I don't know yet, but I know that I'm going to do my best to give you something that makes sense to you.
So we go with, why are they buying? Number two, I want to find out their health. And I break into that with, hey, listen, the things that everybody thinks that money buys life insurance or money buys your Medicare plan. Really what purchases any type of insurance plan is your health.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to ask you some questions. And by the way, I have plans that fit someone that has horrible health. I can ask you no health questions, or I can ask you 20 to 30 health questions. Just know that the more that a company knows about you, the better the plan is going to be. Now, one thing that we always did was we would actually pull out an application, right? Pull out an application. And I like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, it takes away that fear later. Because what I've seen salesmen do in the past, I bought cars before, and they get you all ready and they're all ready to go. And then they pull out that loan application, right? And I mean, that might as well just say the fear of God on it, because it scares you to death, right? Oh, we're getting serious now. You're going to make me sign something. If I've got that application out from the beginning and I'm asking them the health questions right off the application's 90% filled out by the time they're ready to make the decision, right? So go over the health questions. And one other thing is, when you're asking a senior about their health, you never ask them, how is your health? Because you're going to get one of two people. It's either going to be, oh, it's great. You know, as soon as I get this new heart and get over this cancer and, you know, my kidney comes in, we're ready to rock, baby. Or you're going to get, you know, it's just awful. I went last week and my doctor told me I had to cut down on red meat. So
terrible.
Yeah, there goes that, right? So never ask them. The question that we always asked was, what are you taking medication for? And by the way, could you go ahead and get those medications for me? I know later underwriters are going to ask me what you're taking, and I can't pronounce those things, right? So if you could, please go get me some medication. And what you're doing is you're breaking down walls early. You're because think about this. If all you do is fact find, right? What's your name? Betty. Betty, when were you born? 310, yada, yada, yada. Okay. I'm going to get an underwriter on the phone. He's going to ask about your medication, your checking account, your social security, and all this stuff. Ain't a chance. But if I've broken down and I've got to know her and I've already got her medications in my hand, biggest sale we've ever had, we had the lady's checkbook out in front of us, right? And
Yes.
going through her bank statement, finding out what she had and all that stuff. So get to fact finding, do the health, do the why they're buying, and then how much coverage do they need, right? This is vital. Find out how much coverage they need. But first, before I'm asking them how much they want or how much they would like, I'm asking them, what do they have? This question made Cody and I so much money when we started. I'll never forget the first time we asked it. We were in Sleeper, Missouri, just outside of Lebanon.
Yeah.
And we were going to go in there and probably make maybe a $50 sale.
Yeah.
It was to
Raise something.
Ray and Faye.
Faye Lane.
Ray and Faye Lane. That was a
That's
sound made up, but I promise you they're real. Ray and Faye Lane. I can take you to their house today. We went in there and we were probably going to make a $50 sale. But Cody goes, "Hey, Ray, what else do you have? What other life insurance do you have?" "Oh, well, we've got this one. We've got that one that we bought on TV, remember?" And Faye's like, "We also got that one that we bought through the mail." Turns out they have like 4 or 5 different life policies.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to replace a life policy.
Well, yeah, we sold the husband, the wife, the sister, and the sister,
Yep.
and it was like $750 a month in total premium that we walked out of there with.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we just don't think that a lot of these people have other stuff they've already done, and we just don't think about it.
So, guys, this is where you're going to do something different than the average insurance agent. So what we did there is we said, first of all, and I'm getting ready to use one of your dumb things that just works and it drives me crazy. We asked them, "Do you have your policy?" What are they going to say?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
Right?
know.
I don't know.
If you knew where it was, where would that be? And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, it'd be back here in the safe." And they're going back to
Sure.
get it. I'm like, "What just happened? Why in the world did that work?" Or he would say, "Hypothetically, where do you think it is?" I'm like, I don't think these people know what the word hypothetically means, but it worked, right? And so make them go get it. Now, most of the time they don't have it or something like that. So what we're doing is we're writing down the names of every insurance company, right? And I'm making myself a little spreadsheet. And we're writing down the name, and then I'm making myself some columns. Number one, how much do they pay for it? They're going to say, I think I pay 52. I want to know for sure. Number two, I want to know what the death benefit is.
Mhm.
Number three, I want to know what type of policy it is. Is it a whole life policy? Is it a term? And then number four, I want to know the cash surrender. Surrender being the key word. I want to know the cash surrender value, right? So what I'm going to do then, once I have found out and that's where we got into the checking account thing. Because we had a lady that had 13 policies. I'm not exaggerating, 13 policies worth $35,000. She was paying $850 some a month. We sold her a $530 a month.
Oh,
Miss Norma out in Lamar, Missouri.
I
but-
just told that story
Yeah.
at the roadshow.
Yeah, it was nuts. But so that's where Cody goes, "Hey, would you go get her bank account statement, get your bank account statement?" I'm like, she's not gonna, oh, there's her bank account statement. And we go through it line by line. What's this Allstate thing? Oh yeah, I did buy that. What's this Aflac thing? Oh, I forgot. What's this Conseco Life thing? And I mean, once we got down there, she had tons of policies, right?
So
So
think about being the beneficiary too, like all
Yeah.
over the place and
Exactly.
claiming on all that. Like that's a nightmare.
yeah, that's what I was telling Camille the other day. There's millions of dollars every year that goes on claim on life insurance because people just don't know about it. If your kids walk in, you got 14 policies, they're going to find one, maybe two.
Yeah.
They're going to claim on that, and then they're going to go their merry way. But
So true. We got about 10 minutes, by the way. So.
okay, I got to hurry. So we call each of the companies and we find out all that information, right? We call every one of those companies and we find out all that information. Then we can say, okay, what if I could put you in a better situation, right? What we did with her, we wrote her a $50,000 policy. So we gave her $25,000 or $15,000 more coverage for
Yep.
$500 and some odd dollars.
It's like
And we
505,
got her
I think.
$18,000 back in cash value. Okay. She's still our client to this day, still loves us to death. So
Yes.
we found out why they're buying, their health, how much coverage they have, how much they want, finding how much coverage they want. In a perfect world, what do you want this to do? Is this for burial? Do you want to leave some to the grandkids? All that
Yes,
stuff, right?
Yes.
And then we go on to the presentation. And this is where, I don't know where this came from. I don't know if we made it up.
I think so.
Yeah. Here's where we do the presentation. I say, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or Miss Betty, we'll keep using Miss Betty. There's 5 things that I love about this plan, okay? And I get out a big sheet of yellow paper and we write these down. Number 1, day 1 coverage. This policy, if you pass away today, it's going to give you, it's going to pay out, okay? A lot of policies have 2, right? It takes 2 years before it pays out. Number 2, not only does it give day 1 coverage, it has a price lock. That means that the price that I quote you today will never, ever, 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 ever go up. Number 3, this plan has a benefit lock. The benefit that I quote you today can never, ever, ever go down. Number 4, this plan has cash value. The money that I put into it, that you put into it, the company takes their part of it, and then the rest of it goes into a cash savings account that you can borrow against later, or if you ever surrender the policy, you'll get that back. Number 5, you get me. And what I mean by me is, if you ever need anything, you call me, whether that be a change of address, change of phone number, change of beneficiary, whatever. And then when the big time comes for you that you pass away, you tell your kids, they call me, I take care of everything, right? Now, which one of those do you like the most? And make them answer. Okay, make them answer, make sure that they answer, because you're wanting to start the answering process. You're wanting to start it to where they are giving you feedback, right? They're always going to pick either day 1 coverage, premium lock, or me. One of those 3 things. They'll pick it every time, right? So once they've done that, then we go into the close. Okay. Now, anytime we do a close, you write the biggest to smallest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to know their budget a little bit. We've talked about budget. We've talked with them about what they want, how much they can spend, that kind of stuff. I'm going to look at them and I'm going to say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Now, if they tell me, you know what, I'd love to have 15,000. 15,000 is now my bottom number. So I'm going 15, 20, 25. So I'm starting with 25 at the top, and I'm not showing them. And guys, when you run the quote on secureig.com, don't show them the quote engine, because which one are they going to want? The very first one, right?
Yeah.
But I've got in my head, I like Foresters. I think Foresters is going to be great here because I know the health, all that stuff. I'm going to say, okay, for these 3, I'm going to write them out, and I'm going to tell them, before I show you this, I want you to think about 2 things. Number 1, what could you afford comfortably? And number 2, what will take care of your family adequately, right? Then I'll sit it down and I'll show them, okay, here's 3. These 3, here's 25, 20, and 15. Which one of these could you most comfortably afford each and every month? And then the old Brian Tracy.
That's right.
First one to talk loses. They're going to ask, well, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? The first one to talk loses. Make them pick a number. They're typically going to pick the middle one for some reason. I've thought about putting the bigger one in the middle, but they're going to pick the bigger one. Okay. They're going to pick the middle one. Once they do, what's your middle name? Right? Start filling out the application. Don't try to resell it again. Don't try to go back over. Now, don't forget, this has day 1 coverage. Just what's your middle name? Let's fill out the process. And guys, know your process before you sit down with them.
Yes.
Go over the application, know what you're doing. And then once you're filling out the application, make sure you prep them. If it's a phone call, prep them. Hey, here's what's going to happen. Don't give them any surprises. And then I want to finish with, now the big objection we always get, right? And
Yeah, I want to think about it. Call me back. Something like that.
I want to think about it. Call me back. With that one, I'm sorry, ma'am. Don't forget up front, we said that no is okay. Is it no, or a lot of times when people tell me they want to think about it, it's just, they're just being nice. They like me, they want to do business, but they don't have the money. So let's talk about why are you saying you want to think about it? Now, one thing we have done, and I do this a lot, of course, and I can always count on my phone, right? I'll tell them, if it's a husband and wife sitting there and they said they want to think about it, I'll say, okay, that's great. Look, I've missed 5 phone calls since I've been here. Do you care if I step outside and answer some phone calls? You guys think about it. We'll come back in. We'll make a decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Done that.
Yeah, we've done that several times. What they mean is they want to think about it. Never, ever, ever call me again. But
True.
this gives an opportunity to think about it. If they still say, I want to think about it, listen, unfortunately, our company doesn't do callbacks, and we've made a lot of money doing that. Our company doesn't do callbacks because if you pass away tonight and my business card's laying on the table with all these notes, your daughter, your son, whoever is going to think you did this, they're going to call me. That's a call I'm not willing to take. Okay. So let's do it now. A couple things as we close up. What's the most important thing in keeping a client?
I mean, I love a cool down on the way out of the appointment.
Mhm.
I also like, we always did thank you cards.
Thank you
know,
cards,
and
add them
there's some
to an
small
email
stuff.
list, add them to a mailing list, whatever. You just want to be top of mind. And you want to make sure that you're top of mind anytime they think about doing life insurance. The other thing is,
Yes.
guys, do an add-on. I love Liberty Bankers policy. Liberty Bankers has an accidental death and dismemberment rider where it doubles their death benefit in the event of a accident. If they have that on there and a guy walks up trying to sell an ABC company, well, does this have that double accident indemnity rider? Because mine has that. You know, the more you add on, the more likely you are to keep that sell in the long run. Right?
True. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump out, but but I know
Right.
I'll probably have a couple questions for you just because I want to make sure I get to the other building for the other meeting.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I enjoyed it. Okay, go tear it up. Go make some door knocks. I would commit to doing 100 a week before I really prejudged it. Okay, like if you're not doing 100, you're not really door knocking.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the focus, I would do 100, right? And then I think we had a question about recordings and stuff. So I
Okay,
enjoyed it.
yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great
Thank you,
week.
brother.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
Nice done. Well done. Nice done. I don't know what I'm saying. Finally, we got rid of him. No, I'm just kidding. Any questions? There's a link on here for selling. Yes, this recording will be on the Facebook page. Noah, let's make sure we get that on there. And then the age lead source we mentioned, Life Leads Direct has age leads that you can search by zip code. You can search by age of the leads. You can search by a lot of different things. I think you have to go on there and create an account and set up an account and stuff like that. But they work really well. Now, guys, again, they're age leads. They're just an address, right? They're a way to get in front of somebody. Something else that I do with that turning 65 list that I've got here, I do a birthday letter. Let's make sure we get that on there too. I do a letter just basically saying, hey, because if they're turning 65, I know when their birthday is. You want to freak somebody out, go up and tell them, hey, you're turning 65 on the 16th of December, or whatever. They're going to ask, how'd you know that? Listen, birthdays are public knowledge, right? And so I'll go up and I'll say, hey, here's a letter, and I have $1. I'll show you guys the letter. I have $1 that I put on it. It basically says something about, back in the day, $1 would get you this, and this. Nowadays, $1 will get you a can of Coke. Here's $1, have a can of Coke on me. Happy birthday, right? And so I use that quite a bit. Again, it's just something to get in front of. It's just something for DK, for Medicare. You recommend something of DK letter? Yeah, absolutely. Just some kind of letter, just telling them happy birthday. You got to be different, guys. My dad turned 65 here in October. And I mean, I couldn't believe he had the mailman coming to his door because he'd say, look, I can't fill all this in your mailbox, right? You got too much crap today. So make sure you're doing something different, whether it be final expense, whether it be door knocking for Medicare, whether it be door knocking for whatever. It's just an opportunity to get in front of them and then make the most of it. One other thing I wanted to go over here is referrals, right? Now, here's the deal. Old people, seniors, love to talk. I didn't mean to upset Larry. Seniors, I've got the mute button here too. Seniors talk to other seniors, right? Seniors, you talk about us being creatures of habit. Seniors are insanely habitual, right? They go to McDonald's every morning at 4 a.m. They've still got the little plastic McDonald's coffee cup that gets them a cup of coffee for 12 cents. They go there every day and they sit with the same 15 guys. If you have somebody like that, ask them some questions. Hey, what do you do on a daily basis? Do you go to breakfast anywhere? Would it be okay if I came by and just bought everybody's breakfast? You're getting together tomorrow morning, man, I would, and this is after you completed the sale. Excuse me. This is after you wrapped everything up. Look around. A lot of times they'll tell you, hey, I got to get out of here because I go to lunch every day down here at the Shoney's. I don't know if there's Shoney's anymore, but I go to lunch down here and I've got to meet up with 12 other friends. man, I've had one time where I'm like, dude, I got to eat lunch too. You care if I come with you? I'll buy lunch for everybody. Right. And it may cost you $50, but you're going to spend $30 on a lead, you know, and you're getting to meet 12 other guys that are exactly like the guy that you just sat down with. They all have coffee. They all do that. Another thing we do is, hey, tell me about your neighbors, you know, because seniors know every one of their neighbors, right? Tell me about your neighbors. They'll be like, oh, there's that one kid over there plays his music too loud. But, you know, I talked to Betty over here. Well, no, we're in the home, Betty. I talked to Margaret over here every morning. You know, would it be okay if I go over there and tell Margaret that you sent me? I won't tell her what we did exactly, but I'm just going to tell her that I helped you and I would love to help her too. Would that be okay if I go over there and say, hey, Miss Margaret, I was just over there talking to Betty and Betty said, you got to go talk to Margaret, right? That's a referral and that's better than any lead you can buy, right? So try to get 3 or 4 names in each house of every person that you stop into saying, hey, can I talk to your neighbor? Different things like that. Any other questions for me before we get off here? That recording, Cody did a recording of the presentation on YouTube and it's in the chat there. Be sure and watch that. Another thing is, guys, one thing that I have failed to do that Noah is going to help me with is we need to build more of a community. We are going to somehow, I want to hear about y'all's success. I want to hear about your failures because think about this. My kid knows not to stick a fork in an outlet because of this little scar right there, right? That's me sticking a fork in an outlet, okay? My kids know not to pull on the stove because of, well, actually, I've got a scar right there from pulling some ramen noodles out of the microwave. I wasn't a bright kid. My parents didn't believe. They believed he'd let me find it out himself, let him pull that TV on top of himself. He won't do it twice kind of thing. So, guys, where you failed, let us know. We're going to put together something, Noah, some type of WhatsApp or something like that with a group of people in it. I want to hear about your success. I want to hear about your failures. I want us all to get better collectively. I want us all, if something is working for you, man, pass that along. Let us know what's working for you. Let us, if you get a lead source, you say, oh, I'm going to guard that lead source closely. I've got, man, I just completely lost your name. Cody, I've got Cody up there in Cincinnati. Let me tell you something. If Cody shares his lead source with Israel in Macon, Georgia, it's not going to hurt him, right? It's not going to hurt Cody to share his lead source with Israel down there in Macon. It's not going to deplete his leads at all or anything like that. So if you've got something that's working, let us know. We're going to create that. Listen, guys, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate everybody being on. If I can do anything, please, please, please let me know. Camille and I are going to go do some door knocking. She may find out that I absolutely suck at this, and I may need to come back and listen to some of you teach me how to do it. But we'll share our success too. So I appreciate you guys. If we can do anything, please let us know.